Welcome to the Midnight Matinee with
5,
your host
4,
and hostess,
3.
Robert and Angi Curtis.
Welcome, everybody, back to the Midnight Matinee.
Midnight Matinee.
And today is what, number
15
of our 31 days of Halloween demonic possession movies.
Yep, we're about halfway now.
Yeah,
So what's the movie tonight?
it's Drag Me to Hell. You can read the synopsis?
Yeah. Christine Brown has a loving boyfriend and a great job at a Los Angeles bank. But that her heavenly life becomes hellish. When in an effort to impress her boss, she denies an old woman's request for an extension on her home loan. In retaliation, the crone places a curse on Christine, threatening her soul with eternal damnation. Christine seeks a psychic's help to break the curse, but the price to save her soul may be more than she can pay.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. So, there's really there's two camps in this. There's people who absolutely love this movie, and there's people that are kind of like, meh.
Yeah.
And I fall into the meh category.
Really? I really liked it.
Yeah, I thought
It's a Sam Raimi.
It was good, and like I say, there's nothing that is outstanding bad in it. You know, there's no one thing. I felt like they went too much for the gross out horror in it.
Oh, that one scene in the funeral or the wake.
Or the car, or the, you know what I mean? There's so many just over the top gross. It's almost like, what was that girl, Alison Lohman? Like the directors just hated her. They wanted to see her get nasty stuff dumped on her. It's not necessary, in my opinion, for this story for her to get like a bunch of goop dumped all over her face in multiple scenes. Like, it just doesn't. And you can tell in the scene with all the bugs and stuff, and it was CGI'd because it doesn't look good.
Oh yeah, they had I was looking, they had like at least a couple hundreds or something like that of special effects firms. No, maybe not that many, but at least 10 different special effects firms. And they said they kept adding to it.
Yeah.
And doing more and more special effects. But
it didn't pay off, in my opinion, because you get, for this plot, the plot that is this movie, right, Thinner,
I was thinking that exact same thing.
It's a much better story, and it doesn't have gross out scenes in it, and it has the same sort of subtext in it. So I think, because the same thing happens, right? The guy makes a decision.
He's basically a good person, but makes a bad decision.
Right, and it goes astray of the gypsies, and then the gypsies put a curse on him, and then he just loses a bunch of weight until he gets almost passes away from losing too much weight. Yeah. Same sort of thing in this, where she's trying to impress her boss. So I'm not going to spoil the plot for you, but you can get this from the trailer. She tries to impress her boss, and then she denies this old woman a loan, and then come to find out that old woman is actually a powerful gypsy who puts a curse on her, and then she has a certain number of days to lift the curse, or she's drugged to hell.
Yeah.
So
basically, it's 3 days. Her and her boyfriend end up going to a psychic,
right? Who
is like, oh shit, and that she is possessed, being tormented by what is it, Lemira, I think it is, which is a demon.
Yeah.
That's like the eater of children, or something like that. But overall, I mean, I didn't think it was. I didn't
think it was terrible. Don't get me wrong, but
I mean, for Sam Raimi, who is obviously of the Evil Dead thing. In fact, there were a couple of nods.
Spider-Man movies.
He even said in an interview that Ash from the Evil Dead movies would have existed in this universe, and there was actually even a nod. His Oldsmobile, or the yellow Oldsmobile, was actually in the movie at one point. He actually wrote this movie it was like a decade or something before it was actually filmed. With his brother.
Yeah.
And that he ended up going on to do like the Spider-Man movies, and so he was put on the back burner for a long time, and then they came around and came full circle.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's not awful, don't get me wrong, but I mean, as far as like these movies go, like the Gypsy Curse type movies, it's not really a standout in that field, in my opinion. You know, as far as gross out horror movies, it's it's mid-tier in that too.
Well, he even intentionally made it so that it wouldn't be an R-rated.
Right.
He cut back on the gore.
Well, it's not, and it's not like gory, and this story shouldn't be gory, really, because it's just about, ladies cursed. It should be more suspenseful with that sort of a treatise, it doesn't need to be, a slasher movie, because she's not conjuring some sort of demon that's going to tear her apart or whatever, it's just...
Well, there was a funny moment in the seance that I thought was funny, but I'm not going to run any spoilers on it, but...
Yeah.
Where the, let's just say the demon goes into something else.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, he's resolved. He has nothing left to say.
Like I say, the special effects are good. The story is good. I like I like the story. The writing of it is good. It's just that there's a bunch of scenes that are needless. Then there's some scenes that should have been longer, that they should have, there needed more exposition in like the background of the fortune teller guy. Because basically, I don't want to spoil it, but they go to a palm reader guy to get his help, to get his advice about help on how to deal with the gypsy, and then they basically just trust this guy with their life, basically, and like he's just some dude that they found like on the street with the sign that says like palm reading. You know what I mean? Like they're
going down.
Fully invested.
Hey, there's our first psychic you run into, and they went in and
and they're like they fully go in with this guy. Like, please save us. Like there was no, you can't get a second opinion from another person with the palm reading sign out in front of their shop. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder who was like in the B section of the phone book had maybe a better chance of lifting the curse. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like you need more exposition in that story. Like, how did they pick this guy? Why did they trust him as their savior in this scenario? You know what I'm saying? Like that's where I'm going with this. Like, it seems foolish that they're just all in with the one spiritualist that they picked is like, we gotta do this. And like, oh, okay, let's do that. Like
make a sacrifice.
Yeah, right. It seems like, especially because the Justin Long guy doesn't believe this stuff at all.
No, he's a little bit I don't know, kind of. He comes almost as cautious, a little bit on the dippy side, but. He's just kind of straight-laced.
He's kind of that guy in a lot of movies. I feel like that's his formula. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, it's not a bad movie. You won't regret watching it, I mean, if you have to cover your eyes because of the gross-out scenes in it. But,
yeah.
Once you get past the obvious CGI gross-out scenes, then it's not awful.
Yeah, it is one of the movies that did make me gag at one point.
Yeah,
this is why I don't go for gore. I am definitely.
It's.
Heather asked me today if she would like the movie Sinister. I guess she was listening to our review of it.
Yeah.
And I told her I thought she would, because it's not overly violent for violence sake. It's a little disturbing, but like this one, I don't know.
This one is just nasty, disgusting kind of. Blech, and it doesn't need to be. It's needless as far as the story goes. In this, you could ease both of the really gross, she's getting nasty stuff dumped on her scenes. You could just cut out, and you would never know the difference in the story. It doesn't. There's no reason for it, right?
It did fairly well, though. I mean, it was a $30 million budget that made $90 million worldwide. So I mean, like you said, maybe it's one of those people that falls into two camps.
Yeah.
Either you like it or you don't.
Right, and there's a lot of movies that are like this, where it's very divisive, but it's divisive over choices that the directors made. You know what I mean? So it's not like, I don't want to say it like it's badly written, because it's not. It's just, like I say, there's needless gross out scenes in it, and it's not for plot, it's not for story, it's just in there just to have it. I don't know if they got to the end and they had extra budget. They're like, let's just make this
Let's
disgusting.
just throw this in there. Let's throw that in there. Now, it is written as a dark horror comedy, though.
Yeah.
So it does come up. It is not serious in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I feel kind of like that it falls short in that respect as far as like a dark comedy, because it's not really that funny.
Is it more gross out humor?
And it's like, like that's like the fart joke of the horror movie, genre, and it doesn't land in this. They would have been better served to pick a lane and stay in it, in my opinion, right? You could have just said, okay, this is like Thinner, like that we were comparing it to, similar movies, right? You could have stayed in that lane and taken the Gypsy seriously and told the story and had it without all of the gross out stuff in it, and it would have been a better movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then instead of the extra couple minutes of all the gross out, we could have gotten more backstory on the spiritualist guy and why they trusted him so much.
Yeah, because how was he? I mean, he was able to recommend somebody who had dealt with that demon before,
right.
But
and like from their perspective, like we're the viewer in the situation. We're not involved on either side. You know what I'm saying? Like we're just observing. So to us, we've only been with these people for a short time. We don't know their background or how they make choice. Even though we did meet the Justin Long character's parents and all that, and we know that she comes from modest background, we don't know their whole backstory. So when they're introduced to the spiritualist and they just full on trust the guy, you're kind of like, that seems weird. You know what I mean? Like, she's all invested in the guy. She's like, he's my savior. And the Justin Long guy's like, he's just a hokey, palm reader. Like, that. Why are we even doing this? Like, he just wants to go to dinner or whatever. And she's like all about this one guy. Like she couldn't go get a second opinion about spiritualists. You know what I'm saying? That just seems weird to me. So that's where I left the bus. Like they should have had more explanation of why they went to this guy. Then it would have been more cohesive to the story, in my opinion. You know what I mean? But it seemed like they had this guy, who is it, Dilip Rao, the guy.
The guy who plays the psychic.
Yeah. Like they had that actor and he like owed him some money or something, so they're like, yeah, we're going to put that guy in this role.
Well, they originally said that he was too young. They thought he was too young, but he went out and kind of redeemed himself and said, this is what I'm going to do in the movie. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I never thought about the whole spiritualist. I mean, my one of my best friends growing up, her parents were spiritualists, and would go to this place called Lilydale, which was like the center for spiritualism, and I just never thought of it, any other way. But then you see all these palm readers, give me a hand,
Yeah, right. None of that's real. The wrinkles in your hand are caused by, you holding stuff when you're young, and it's not. There's no phrenology of it. That's all bunk.
He's a debunker.
Yeah. So, what do you think about this movie?
Okay, well, let's put up our haunted rating system. I think that we both agreed that it's probably the 3 out of 5, the blood curdling. Thrilling enough to make you look over your shoulder, but not quite enough to keep you up at night. Solid, but not sinister.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'd say the first time I saw it was in the theater, and it was one of those experiences where there was only a handful of us in there, and I really liked it in the theater. I thought it was really good. And then later on, it was on, like, I don't even remember, AMC or something, and in the afternoon, and I watched it again, and I was kind of like, eh.
To be funny, every time I saw it, the poster for it, I thought it was that movie From Hell with, is it Johnny Depp?
Oh, yeah,
the Jack the Ripper. I always, for some reason, thought that was, that's that movie. And it was like completely off.
No, actually, this came out in, what, 2009?
Yeah,
From Hell came out in 2000.
Yeah.
So, a little bit of gulf there.
But maybe they had maybe the posters were similar or something. And that's why I always saw it and thought, that's that Johnny Depp movie.
Yeah.
But.
No, it was different movie.
Anything else that going on this week that we think? I keep looking for new horror movies, but there's the one coming out in another week or so called Drop that's classified as horror. It's that one we saw the preview where the girl and the guy go out to dinner in that high-rise hotel. Yeah. But I don't know if I would consider that quote-unquote horror. I guess.
I think I've just about given up on new
More like a psychological
new
thriller.
horror movies. I'm watching. What is it called? The Summer of Hell or something like that. It's It was a made-for-TV movie. They expanded into an actual movie on VHS, and it has
VHS. That means it goes back a ways.
Oh, it's from 1978.
Oh,
and,
wow.
It's a Linda Blair movie, and it's still young Linda Blair. So it's like just, I think 78 would probably be the same year as Exorcist 2, wouldn't it?
I was going to say, I think it was like, 72,
so it's right around
78,
that same
79,
time.
something like that. Which we had our thoughts on that one.
Yeah. So I had watched it years and years and years ago, and then as I was scrolling through the YouTuber nets, or no, actually it was on TikTok. Somebody was talking about it, and I was like, oh, I forgot about it, so I started rewatching it. So I'm only like 10 minutes into it, so we're gonna. I'm just about giving up on modern stuff. I'm starting to go back into old horror movies and finding my groove. Groove back.
I was say we also just finished watching The Walking Dead: Dead City on Netflix with Negan and Maggie.
It wasn't bad.
You liked it?
I liked it. Yeah, I really liked that story.
We didn't watch it live on AMC, or maybe it was on AMC Plus. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
the last couple seasons of The Walking Dead were so bad, just so bad.
They hit their pinnacle, and
they keep introducing these just awful characters, over and over again, and you're like, bro, stop it.
Reel it back.
Right.
But yeah, and then we also watched this one on Netflix that was actually had just come out called Adolescence.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm not even sure that would classify as horror or not. No. But it was crazy.
It was sad. I felt bad.
I thought it was interesting the way they filmed it, because the camera never, quote unquote, stopped moving. I mean, they had seamless cuts in that, because you're just like, whoa. I didn't see.
There's a lot of that's what they call that, where it's like the camera will start on a character and then follow them through the entire scene, and then
follow another character down the
it'll
hallway.
Cut to a different character. So it's like one big long cut in the scene, and
it was actually in time too, because they were saying like, okay, this thing started at 7 a.m. and then 7:34, where and it's like.
It was really good.
Sad though, but at the same point.
When you get to the end of it, you're kind of like just heartbroken by it. And like I was telling you at the time, like the story was fantastic, the acting is good. It got to the last 10 minutes of the last episode, and just
it's like they just gave up the ghost.
Fell off the rails. And,
I'm not gonna run it.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin it all. It was really good. I liked it. Adolescence is what it's called. And like I said at the time, you could have easily cut that down and just made an hour and 30-minute movie out of it, and it would have been just as good as the 8-episode.
And we were going to do Heretic last week, but a lot was going on. We haven't done it this week. That movie, it's finally ended up on Max. The one with Hugh Grant. Yeah. So we were planning to do that and then give our thing. So that will be coming up soon. Yeah. Is there anything else we've watched lately? We went into kind of a show hole after we finished Legacies.
Yeah, we watched the Legacies. I really liked that
like
show.
a subject. What do they call it? A spinoff.
It's a spinoff of a spinoff, and we never watched the first two. The Vampire Diaries or the originals.
Yeah, I never watched Vampire Diaries.
We didn't watch either one of those, so we started at the last. And we really liked it. I thought it was really, really, really well done.
I wasn't sure where to go with at the beginning, because I'm like, oh, this is a little teenage, probably not in our thing. But, we liked it. Because we liked that one. What was the one with the lady who worked in the morgue and she was a vampire?
Zombie.
iZombie.
iZombie. Yeah.
Which kind of started off the same way, and we ended up loving that one.
Yeah, that was really, really good. It was really, really well written, and all the characters were really well developed in that.
Yeah.
And that's why I liked it a lot. That iZombie is still on Netflix. You can watch it. Yeah. And that was really, really good.
The girl that played there has actually jumped over to the U.S. version of the TV show Ghosts. She plays one of the innkeepers that's in there. Yeah. It's like, I know her from somewhere.
That was really good.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
So, I don't know. Anything else?
As far as horror movies go, I don't think so. We're kind of in a drought. Spring's starting, so they kind of dial it back. Like we said last one, that no one likes to have a horror movie come out in competition with the June blockbusters. So it won't be until August or September before horror movies start really
Ramping
getting
up
good again. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I guess, and then we'll see you next time.
At the Midnight Matinee.
Midnight Matinee. Okay. Cue Todd. Bye.
You've been watching the Midnight Matinee, brought to you by the Veritas Project. So when the clock strikes 12, grab your tickets for the next episode of the Midnight Matinee.